Hi there, and welcome to my next video on my YouTube channel, Unapologetic with Lorelei. Today I'm trying to escape the rain again, and I think I'm managing pretty well actually. I took my time and to see what's best to come out, and um, not now I mind the rain, but I prefer not to get soaking wet when I'm out here because when the rain comes down here, it comes down heavily, and it's an open area. Which is a beautiful area where I love to spend time, and I've made many movies, many films, videos rather already here. Sorry to say it, I'm well, not sorry to say it, but English is not my mother tongue. You probably heard it, and I'm trying to do my best to make as little mistakes as possible. But I probably will use the wrong words sometimes for the wrong situation, or make some grammar mistakes. But I hope you can still follow my chain of thoughts and my insights that I share here with you. And the one from today actually is the one that how I set boundaries for people who diminish me. I don't know if you have people around you or you come across them often, and but I do personally do. I think that's one of the reasons why it puzzles me sometimes, and why I saw the necessity of it to actually set boundaries for them, because they can make you feel highly uncomfortable, and it can sit through in your day for a couple of hours, and I don't like that. I don't like other people's influences being that strong part of my day, being influenced, that part of my day so much. So I'm setting boundaries for them, because after all, I think when people diminish you or make funny remarks, and they also call them passive aggressive people. Don't know if you heard of that before. But I think that diminishing what they do to you or to me has more to do with them. They feel unsettled in my presence or in your presence, and it has little to do with you. But you're still on the receiving end of their remarks and their words and their eye rolls or whatever it is. And I don't stand for that anymore. I took it for quite some time in my life, I think, just for different reasons, and you always find an excuse why you let it slip or let it slide. But I'm not doing it anymore, and I don't know if you can resonate, but I'm going to talk more about it on my walk here. And but before I do that, I'm going to flip the screen, and like I usually do on my videos, perhaps you've seen more of or perhaps this is your first video you're watching. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the walk with me, because I'm really trying my best to make you see as much as the beautiful surroundings here, and I hope you get some of the vibe as well from that. So I'm going to flip the screen, and I'm going to talk more with you about setting boundaries for people who diminish you. Okay, so here we are in a little piece of the nature here. It's a beautiful nature reserve, and it's mixed forest with heathland, and I like that. I live in a cabin in the forest, which I do love. However, I like the open space sometimes. The open space, for instance, by the sea or by the here from the heathland. I haven't filmed by the sea yet, but I'm sure I'm gonna do it one of these days, and I'll keep you posted. But yes, coming back to the topic of today that I was thinking about, because it's always on my mind, because I come across quite a few people like who are doing it, and well, I, lately less and less, because I think they have a special radar for it, that they think, oh, I can't do this with her, or I don't know if I just imagine that, but as I said, because when people diminish you, then I believe it's because my presence or your presence, it unsettles them, and I set boundaries for that. So not to control anyone, however, just to stay myself, to remain myself, and not being sidetracked. And it can take you sometimes a couple of hours to recover from their nasty looks or remarks, or yes, it's just not good for my health and not good for my blood pressure. And but I learned to deal with it, and I learned to set boundaries for it. So as I said, it happens to me less and less. I don't know if you can resonate with it, if you come across people like that in your life, at work, in your private life. And it's not always easy to deal with it and to set the boundaries, especially if you're in a position that you are depending on certain things or people, because if it's work, it can be a little bit tricky to set boundaries, of course, because yeah, after all, it might be your boss or your manager or whatever. And another thing for personal relationships, of course, it's to set boundaries. I have made another video previously about that as well. And it's hard sometimes because you don't want to be so strict with them, but you have to you have to be able to remain yourself and not being wound up every time people do this to you or say this to you. I hope you enjoy in the meantime what I'm showing you, because it's we're well in autumn now, and a lot of leaves have come down already, but there's still a lot of colors left. And well, as I said, I'm trying to avoid the rain. I hope it stays all up there. The sky is very gray, but it all has its charms. That's my thought anyhow. And that reminds me of saying that this is what my videos are about. It's about my life experiences, my insights, things I like to share with you. And because I think a lot of people can resonate with my topics when I'm talking about, and things that come to my mind that I want to speak about. And they're not just coming out of the sky or out of a book. They just come from, yes, things I've been through or things I'm going through, and I presume they might resonate to you as well. Well, the tricky part about people who want to diminish you are the ones who are very clever in doing it in a polite manner, in a polite way. They do it, like, for instance, in little jokes or in subtle comments or in tones that say more than their words will ever will. And well, for years, as I said, I thought it was just for me, and that maybe I was too sensitive on the topic, um, or I was too direct, or too independent, or too much of whatever people sometimes blame me for. But I come to realize it's not that at all. It's that some people are just kind of allergic to self-possessed people, and sometimes I dare even to say women, because sometimes they have a problem with, or as I said, allergic to people, to women who won't shrink, or who won't ask for permission, or who know exactly who they are, rather. And when your groundedness rattles their insecurity, then yeah, they're going to show it to you. They're going to make you know. They will try to, put you down to where and when they feel comfortable. And I believe, once again, that's why boundaries matter so much. It's such a necessity to have, and to set them, rather. And the second part, I think, is that diminishing people they rarely start loud. They just do it very subtle, very subtle. It begins quietly, like a comment, but that's a kind of comment that just cuts through your confidence. It's really, really mean in my eyes. And or it can be a joke that isn't really a joke at all. It's just hurtful. And I mean, if you make a joke, then everybody can laugh. But if there's one victim, or one who just have to feel, the meanness in this, it's not a joke. Let's call it what it is. It's not a joke. Or they have a tone in their voice that's just sharp enough to leave a bruise sometimes. So I always say, people can leave bruises on your heart. And well, my heart is not open for that. I'm telling you, it's not. And it's the way they have that they brighten you. When you're brightened, rather, that they feel the need to dim you. They dim your lights. They can't, somehow they can't stand it. Oh, that's nice. This really, leaves are falling. There's no AI here in this video. I mean, the actual leaves are falling when I'm talking to you here. Huh. Isn't nature beautiful? I just enjoy it, whichever season. I'm living in a country where we have 4 seasons, and I love all of them. But I think I can say I have a small favor for autumn and for spring. They're two of my favorites, actually. But coming back, that the way they want to dim your lights, they call it that they tease you, or they call it they're kind of honest, or they call it that that's just who I am, and that's, you're just gonna have to deal with it, because okay, that's who they are. But in the meantime, what about you? And how you know about these people? Because many people are unaware of others that they do it to you. You just leave the area, or leave the room, or leave a situation with an uncomfortable feeling, and you just can't put your finger on it, what it is. But it is what it is, and your gut is telling you, and you should not ignore it. You should not. I believe, that's my opinion, you should not let people get away with it. There's no need for it. Why? Because you're not hurting anybody. You're trying to be yourself, not hurting anybody. But the way to do it actually is to pay attention how your body responds to them or to what they're doing at that particular moment, because your intuition always knows before your mind does. That's what I learned. And because this diminishment, I think, it's not a personality trait. It's a habit. It's even a strategy from these people, and a way of people try to control the room without lifting a finger or without having any experience on topics or whatever. They just want to control the room, and not in a very nice manner. So I believe that if you don't catch that early, you're going to have to start negotiating parts of yourself and feelings, and well, were never really meant to bargain with at all. Because why? And I think these days I have a special radar for it, because I have a special way of how to deal with people like that in my life. Because I'm 62 years of age, and I think I'm a big girl now, and I don't have to stand for none of that game playing, gameful or hurtful game playing in your mind, in your heart, in your they mess up your mind, and I don't stand for that anymore, because I recognize diminishment instantly. I just don't absorb it anymore. I don't analyze it. I don't argue with it. I'm certainly not explaining myself. I just decide for myself how close they are allowed to get, and which is usually, to tell you the truth, not close at all. And because I think a lot of people just don't deserve your front row seats, if you may call it like that, of your life, and especially if their favorite hobby is diminishing or dimming, or rather dimming your lights. And you can see it also doomed to other people. They're not just doing it to you. They have this kind of habit that they do it to everybody around them many times. And then I saw it in shops. I saw it people who are selling things to people, and the way they go about it. I said, oh gosh, you're so sneaky with that. And those poor people, oh, they're not doing anything wrong, and they just feel that they're not being treated somehow along the line very well, but they just can't put their finger on it, and you see it happening in front of you. And I think to keep those people on a distance is just my way of form of self-love. And I don't know if you can resonate to any of it, but I'm sure you must, because I know the world is full of people like that who are trying to do this to you sometimes. But as I said, I hope not too many of them, and I hope you can keep them at a distance. And I also, actually, silence is another way of how I respond sometimes, because silence is not a real it's not a real boundary, but not reacting to these people is also a kind of power, because they like to have a stage, a podium to stand on, and to be heard and to be seen, and whatever reaction they're going to get, they love it. So yes, I believe also walking away can be a wisdom at the time. And I'm saying it all depends, of course, on the situation and who you have in front of you, and it's got to do with that of how you can respond and how you want to respond. But walking away is also a kind of wisdom, I believe. And if someone can't handle your boundaries, they will never they will never comfortable with you and being your sovereign self to begin with. So that's just, as far as I'm concerned, the end of the any kind of relationship, if I can help it and if the situation allows it. So well, I sound a little bit I'm ready to fight, which is not. I'm relaxed. It's just those kind of people I have experienced. They can really nag you and hurt you sometimes. And I can only say from where I stand, don't take it anymore. Don't take it in. Don't take it in for 1 second. I hope you can protect yourself from those kind of people and remain yourself and be relaxed with it. And by saying that, I hope you enjoyed the nature that I'm sure I've shown you here. And I wish you a very, very nice day. Take very good care of yourself, very good care of yourself, and your loved ones as well. I don't know if you have seen more videos of me and of mine, and then you can always subscribe if you want. You can also give a thumbs up. You can always leave a comment if you have experiences or you agree or don't agree or whatever you want to say. I always read the comments and I will reply to it. And with saying that, I wish you still a very nice day, as I said, and I hope to see you next time in my video. Bye.